We will now conduct the debate and vote on City Club of Portland's most recent ballot measure report on Measure 26-189, which would amend the City of Portland Charter to reform the City Auditor's Office. I'm Greg McPherson, past president of City Club. In addition to those members who remained in the room following the Friday forum here at the Sentinel Hotel, I am pleased to welcome members listening to or watching this debate on our City Club website. All City Club members should have received a voting card upon arrival. If you are a City Club member and did not receive one, please return to the registration table in the back to get your voting card. As you all know, we couldn't do research like this without the support of our sponsors. The generous support of City Club's corporate and media partners ensures we put on the best civic programs in the state week after week. It's important to note that we accept donations to City Club without regard to any funder's opinion on the content of our research, advocacy work, or events, and further, that our research does not represent the opinions of our partners, sponsors, or donors. Today, members will debate and vote on whether to adopt this committee's recommendation on Measure 26-189. This report, like all City Club reports, was written by volunteer members of the club who were carefully screened for conflicts of interest before they were appointed to serve on the study committee. The research committee was charged with assessing the proposed charter amendment and recommending whether the club endorse it. I am joined today by Jonathan Radmacher, who will serve as parliamentarian and timekeeper for our debate. The meeting will then be open for debate and vote by City Club members. Now I will turn the podium over to Zoe.
Thank you, Greg. So my name is Zoe Klingman. I was the chair of City Club's committee studying the Portland City Auditor Charter Amendments, Measure 26-189. I wanted to just start by thanking my committee, Amanda Mather, Brandy Etheridge, Joan Thompson, and Dustin Bueller, our tireless lead writer. I'd also like to thank Eric Fruits, our research advisor, and Chris Trable, City Club's interim research director. So if our committee members, are you back there? Yes. If you could just stand up and then everyone will applaud for you. Yay. Thank you. So we unanimously recommend a yes vote for this measure, and I think it makes sense to start the explanation of why with a small summary of what the Portland City Auditor does. The office contains within it a sort of grab bag of different accountability functions. They do financial audits, elections, the council clerk, performance audits of city bureaus, the Office of the City Ombudsman, and the Independent Police Review, and probably more that I'm forgetting. So through these different functions, the auditor has a central accountability role in city government. Now, the issue at hand is that because of Portland's unique city government structure, auditors have in the past frequently been put in a position where they are dependent on the very parts of city government that they are meant to be holding to account. This is something that we've heard from both our current auditor, Mary Hull Caballero, as well as past auditors. Our committee feels that this is a real problem for our government. It's a potential problem for accountability, if the auditor is prevented from being effective at her job. And it's also a problem for trust in government, if voters may not believe that the auditor is being effective if they observe these types of conflicts. Measure 26-189 makes several changes to the city charter designed to give the auditor's office more of the independence that's needed. We believe these changes are warranted because they begin to resolve some of these conflicts and vulnerabilities that exist for the office today. I'm just going to give two small examples of the problems being addressed by the measure, although I highly encourage you to read the entire report. It's very well written. So the first example, currently the auditor gets legal advice from the city attorney, as do most other city bureaus. But what if the auditor is, say, undertaking a performance audit of one of those other bureaus, and the city attorney must advise both parties at the same time? Thank you. The city attorneys might be forgiven for wondering who they're meant to be advising here, and both the auditor and the audited bureau might wonder exactly how good the advice they are getting is going to be. Measure 26189 addresses this issue by giving the auditor greater access to independent legal counsel, so not the city attorney, and begins to resolve that tension. A second example, the Office of the City Ombudsman, which is cited within the auditor's office. The Ombudsman plays an essential role for the city. They act as a forum of last resort for citizens who have complaints against city government. But it's a creature of city code, so that leads to concerns that it would be all too easy for government officials to weaken the Ombudsman's authority were they unhappy with the results of an investigation. Measure 26189 addresses this vulnerability by encoding the Office of the Ombudsman in the city charter, giving it that extra layer of protection. So one of the more important critiques our committee heard about 26189 is that it doesn't go far enough. And this was a concern for us. We found that the measure does address some of the major points of contention and consensus on this issue. Half a loaf is better than none. While incomplete, this is an important step to improving accountability and allowing the Portland City Auditor to be more independent and more effective. So with that, I move that City Club adopt the committee's recommendation on Measure 26189. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Zoe. So you heard the motion, which is to adopt the report, a unanimous recommendation. We have two microphones set up, a yes microphone and a no microphone, and the floor is now open for debate by City Club members on the motion to adopt this report. Is there anybody who would like to speak at either microphone? Seeing none, then that will conclude the debate. Oh, I'm sorry. No, I'm not going to go down.
Dustin Bueller, City Club member, lead writer for this report. I want to really quickly, we'd be remiss not to thank Zoe for the tremendous work she did at keeping the trains running on time. Thank you, Zoe.
The research program of City Club, which is really a stellar aspect of the life of the club, has been really humming on all cylinders, and it's because of good people like Zoe who engaged that process so effectively. So that concludes the debate. So now we are going to vote, and you do this with your voting card. If you haven't gotten one already and you're a member, then please pick one up, and then cast your vote and turn it in, and those members who are not voting here today will then have an opportunity to vote online here before the vote concludes next Thursday, if I remember how my script reads here. And a simple majority determines whether or not the club adopts the report. And the results, actually, the noon Wednesday, the 19th, is the close for online balloting, and the results will be announced on Thursday, the 20th. Once again, I'd like to thank Zoe for her chairing the committee members for their hard work, Eric Fruits for being the research advisor, and Chris Treball for supporting the committee as interim research and policy director. We are adjourned.